The rain fell in steady sheets outside the hotel, the kind that blurred the streetlights and turned the city into a hazy watercolor. Emily sat at the front desk, the quiet hum of the heater the only sound in the lobby, until the glass doors slid open. An older man stepped in, drops of rain clinging to his coat and hat. He moved slowly, as if each step had a weight to it, and carried a single, worn suitcase that looked like it had seen decades of travel. When he reached the counter, he offered a small, polite smile. His voice was soft, almost apologetic, when he asked for the smallest room the hotel had. Not the best room, not even one with a view, just the smallest. Emily's fingers hesitated over the keyboard as she took in the lines etched deep around his eyes, the way his shoulders sloped forward. There was something in his gaze that spoke of stories untold, grief, maybe, or years of solitude. She handed him his room key, offering a warm welcome, but he only nodded, as if unsure how to accept kindness. Watching him walk toward the elevator, Emily couldn't shake the feeling that the weight he carried wasn't in his suitcase at all. It was in his heart. Something told her this was no ordinary guest, and for reasons she couldn't explain, she found herself hoping that, in some small way, she could make his stay feel less lonely. It was the first quiet ripple in a story she didn't yet know she was part of. Over the next few days, the man became a quiet fixture in the hotel lobby. He always sat in the same armchair near the window, his suitcase tucked neatly at his feet, a cup of black coffee cooling in his hands. He never seemed in a hurry, never appeared to be waiting for anyone. Emily noticed how he would watch the rain outside or the occasional guests passing through, but rarely spoke unless spoken to. Something about his quiet presence drew her in. On her lunch break, she began stopping by his chair, offering a warm smile and a few words of conversation. At first, his answers were short, polite but guarded. Still, Emily didn't give up. She started bringing him small tokens of comfort, a plate of fresh cookies from the kitchen, an extra blanket when the lobby felt chilly. She even remembered how he liked his coffee and began bringing it without him asking. Gradually, his eyes began to soften. He would ask how her day was going, listen as she talked about funny guests or little frustrations from work. Though he never said much about his own life, there was something in the way he listened, truly listened, that made her feel her words mattered. To Emily, he was just a lonely guest in need of a little warmth, someone she could help in small, simple ways. She had no idea that every act of kindness she offered was quietly weaving itself into a story that would soon change both of their lives. One evening, as Emily was finishing her shift, she noticed the man lingering in the lobby instead of heading up to his room. The rain had stopped, and the city lights glowed faintly through the windows. He was sipping his coffee slowly, almost as if he was waiting for the right moment to speak. When Emily passed by to collect empty cups, he looked up at her with a thoughtful expression. "You've worked here a while?" he asked. She nodded, telling him it had been nearly 3 years. He hesitated, then asked, "Do you enjoy it?" Emily was honest. She told him she loved meeting people and making them feel welcome, but admitted that sometimes she wished the hotel paid more attention to its staff. "We work hard to keep things running," she said softly, "but it feels like no one notices the little things, like remembering a guest's name or making sure they feel at home." The man listened intently, not interrupting once. When she finished, he gave a small smile and said, "That's important to know." There was something in his voice, quiet, steady, that made her wonder why her opinion mattered so much to him. Before she could ask, he simply thanked her for the coffee, stood, and walked toward the elevator. Emily watched him go, feeling an odd mix of curiosity and comfort, not realizing that this brief conversation was the first hint of something much bigger than she imagined. The next morning, Emily arrived at work to an unusual buzz in the air. The lobby was spotless, the staff seemed unusually alert, and the hotel manager was gathering everyone for an unplanned meeting. Emily, still in her coat, joined the small crowd of employees near the reception desk, wondering what was going on. Moments later, the elevator doors slid open, and to Emily's surprise, the quiet guest stepped out, only he wasn't in his usual weathered coat. He was dressed in a sharp, tailored suit, his posture straight, his presence commanding the room. Conversations died down instantly. The manager stepped forward with a smile that looked part pride, part nervousness. "Everyone," he began, "I'd like you to meet Mr. Harrison, our hotel's owner." Emily froze, staring at the man she thought was just a lonely traveler. He looked at her and smiled, the same gentle smile she had seen before, only now framed by an air of quiet authority. "I've been staying here," he said, "to see this place through the eyes of a guest. And in the process, I've been reminded of what truly makes a hotel special: people." He glanced directly at Emily. "Sometimes, it's not the rooms or the amenities that make an impression. It's the kindness of one person who goes above and beyond, without expecting anything in return." Emily's cheeks warmed as the realization sank in. Every small act of care she had shown him had been noticed, and perhaps even remembered, far more than she ever imagined. In front of the gathered staff, Mr. Harrison continued speaking, his voice warm but steady. "During my stay, one person made me feel not just like a guest, but like family. She offered kindness when there was no reason to, paid attention when most would have looked away, and reminded me why I built this hotel in the first place." Emily's heart pounded as his gaze settled firmly on her. "Emily," he said, "your compassion has not gone unnoticed. Starting today, you're being promoted to guest relations manager, with a significant raise." Gasps and murmurs rippled through the staff, but Emily could only stand frozen, her eyes wide. Mr. Harrison wasn't done. "And," he added, "we're launching a new employee care program, better training, better benefits, and a focus on the little touches that make guests feel at home. It's inspired entirely by you." Emily felt her throat tighten, her eyes misting over. She managed a quiet "thank you" as the room erupted into applause. Mr. Harrison stepped closer, speaking just for her. "Kindness changes everything," he said softly, "and you've reminded me of that." In that moment, Emily realized that her small gestures, cookies, blankets, conversations, had grown into something far bigger. She hadn't just made a lonely man feel welcome, she had inspired a change that would touch the lives of countless guests and employees. As she stood there, smiling through tears, she knew one thing for certain: no act of kindness is ever truly small.